10 Most Dangerous Fighters MMA of All Time. 10. Vanderlei Silva, the Axe-Murderer, wins, 35-25 knockout, 3 tap-out, 7 decision, losses, 12, draws, 1, no contests, 1. Vanderlei Silva never really caught fire in his later UFC career, but during his prime in Pride, he was an unstoppable force, driving opponents to the ground with deadly Muay Thais and takedowns. Silva is responsible for stopping the momentum of some of MMA's most legendary fighters, including Quinton Rampage Jackson and Kazushi Sakuraba, who he defeated to obtain the Pride Middleweight Championship belt. 9. BJ Penn, the Prodigy, wins, 16-7 knockout, 6 tap-out, 3 decision, losses, 10, draws, 2. BJ Penn is one of the most technically sound fighters to ever grace the UFC octagon. He's so at ease with the sport that his training montages often showed him surfing, jogging on the beach, and enjoying his native Hawaiian landscape while his opponents trained in CrossFit and Gold gyms around the world. BJ Penn has only bled once, and is best known for dethroning corn-fed farm boy Matt Hughes for the welterweight championship. 8. Chuck Liddell, the Iceman, wins, 21-13 knockout, 1 tap-out, 7 decision, losses, 8, draws, 1. Called the Iceman for a reason, nobody throws a meaner punch than Chuck Liddell. This light heavyweight superstar has fought his entire life and dominated the UFC with his striking, wrestling, and ground-and-pound tactics. Though fights with Ortiz and Couture were the biggest draws of their day, it was his win over Vanderlei Silva that remains the dream matchup of MMA fans in the Americas. 7. John Jones Bones, wins, 21-9 knockout, 6 tap-out, 6 decision, losses, 1. Few fighters have taken the MMA world by storm like John Bones Jones. After battling his way through the light heavyweight ranks of the UFC, he's quickly becoming one of the most legendary champions on record. This is despite his current record as youngest UFC champion and longest light heavyweight championship defense. Whether on the ground, in the air, or while seated, Jones will get in your head and annihilate you. 6. Randy Couture, the Natural, wins, 19-7 knockout, 4 tap-out, 8 decision, losses, 11. Sporting an iron jaw bred in the woods of Oregon, Randy Couture is a legendary wrestler who was introduced to MMA by UFC or early adopter. Anyway, Don Fry, a throwback to the days of Captain America and Hulk Hogan. Couture's sparkling Hollywood personality overshadows the brutal precision of his takedown defense, ground game, and punching power. The Natural is one of the UFC Hall of Fame's most deserving members. 5. Royce Gracie, wins, 14-0 knockout, 12 tap-out, 2 decision, losses, 2, draws, 3. The reason MMA is as popular as it is today. Royce Gracie is a master of his family's Brazilian-based Gracie Jiu-Jitsu. Royce won 3 of the first 4 UFC tournaments before headlining the events in grudge matches. It wasn't until Sakuraba in Pride that Gracie finally met defeat, but he avenged that loss after taking down Sumoyo knockout Zuna Akibono Taro and being robbed in a fight against UFC's at the time Golden Boy, Matt Hughes. Still, Gracie's style of jiu-jitsu lives on in a variety of fighters, and is still taught to U.S. Army soldiers in basic combat training to this day. 4. Lyoto Machida, the Dragon, wins, 22-9 knockout, 2 tap-out, 11 decision, losses, 5. Few fighters have made the impact Lyoto Machida has. After Royce Gracie came a slew of wrestlers and ground-and-pounders, relying on brute force and a generic MMA style to rack up wins. Suddenly Machida appeared on the undercards, wowing fans with a display of pure karate mixed into his standing game, and a solid ground game on top of it. Machida quickly rose through the ranks, dethroning Ultimate Fighter Rashad Evans for the championship before dropping it to Shogun Ruha. Still, Machida's unorthodox style remains a force to be knockouted within the UFC and throughout the MMA leagues. 3. Anderson Silva, the Spider, wins, 34-20 knockout, 6 tap-out, 8 decision, losses, 6. Not only is Anderson Silva the longest reigning champion in UFC history, he's also a bit of a clown in the ring, likely inspiring Bones Jones' antics. There's no denying the skill behind the smiles, though, as Silva took apart everyone in the UFC's middleweight division. A broken leg on live TV and rumors of steroid usage during recovery held the fighter back recently, but don't expect Anderson Silva to be missing from the octagon long. 2. Georges St. Pierre Rush wins, 25-8 knockout, 5 tap-out, 12 decision losses. 2. GSP is one of the most technical fighters to ever enter the UFC cage, only suffering 2 losses, both of which he avenged. St. Pierre turned out to be the best Canadian export in sports, confidently retiring with a record that shines in the UFC Hall of Fame. Watching GSP dismantle some of the sport's best fighters remains a pleasure to this day. One can only hope we'll see GSP go the Jay-Z route to come out of retirement for another dream bout.
1. Fedor Emelianenko, the last emperor, wins, 34-10 knockout, 16 tap-out, 8 decision losses. 3. No contests. 1. You'll often hear the term pound for pound to describe the best fighter. This is because some guys are amazing fighters, but they're competing in 140-pound weight classes. Fedor Emelianenko is a different case. He's the best fighter in his weight class, which is the heaviest one. This man showed the type of technique, speed, and skill the little guys mentioned above have, but backed by unmatched strength. Though we never got to see him demolish Brock Lesnar, we all know it would have gone down, because Fedor Emelianenko is the undisputed king of MMA. How do you feel about this video? Let us know in the comments below, and why not check out some other fun videos on our channel. Thanks for watching.
Cause behavioral problems. Similar studies have been performed on ex-NFL players that have hurt themselves or others, and they largely reach the same conclusion. Andre died in his sleep of congestive heart failure in a Paris hotel room. He was in Paris for his father's funeral. His ashes were later scattered at his North Carolina ranch. Guerrero was found unresponsive in his Minneapolis, Minnesota hotel room by his nephew and longtime tag